All right. Good evening, everybody. Ian here. Just letting you know in advance that if you're hearing this recording, I apologize. I couldn't make it in person or the Zoom because I had another another event to attend to that finished at 7. So possibly I may not have been able to make it back in time to share in person or whatnot. Yeah. So basically, tonight I'll be sharing quickly about what I learned in the Market Singapore Leadership School 2018. Now, prior to that, I actually arrived in Singapore a week and a half uh, before leadership school started, just to prospect and plant seeds in Singapore. One thing I was very excited about was to just share, and originally wanted to show the plan to a lot of my friends. But later on, I learned from the Singapore's culture, it's best to actually do things with more of a not saying manipulative way, but more a smarter way. Sorry, ignore what I said manipulation. This business is not about manipulation, but education and information essentially. So I'll just go through it quickly. So one big thing I noticed in Singapore and is unfranchised owners was this duplication is very strong over there. Um, Before the leadership school, I actually attended a few trainings uh, organized by the Market Singapore corporate team, basically being taught by unfranchised owners themselves. So on the bottom right, you can see Verna Tay. So she's a certified TLS trainer, certified Web Centers trainer, as well as a multi-time challenge winner. She's very big in retailing in a lot of many areas. And one thing I learned from her was that the TLS 101 was to um, essentially retail recruit in a sense. On the top right, you can see Jojo. So Jojo is actually the country manager. So she's not a UFO herself, as corporate team members cannot be. But I learned very much how Market America runs when it comes to its advertising and marketing. So I saw a few pictures and stuff happening in like magazines. Just recently saw Amber Reininger's face on Times Square promoting the new Lumiere range, and she shared that very briefly that if publishers want to publish you, they basically come to you. So a lot of them actually came to shop to come through word of mouth from our own fellow unfranchised owners, or even just approaching Market America directly. It's only if those who do not, if they don't like, they have those companies that to pay the publishers to have their brand marketed, advertised for them. Now on the top left, you can see I this is one of B5s I attended. So Adrian and Jerry are actually originally traditional business owners, and once they saw the business compensation plan, they're very surprised at how simple, straightforward it is. I mean, like Jerry used to run I believe it was a plumbing business, invested like almost half a million in and couldn't break even for many years. And likewise, Adrian with his engineering teaching background. Uh, and so at the bottom left here, we have Michelle Liu, the Market Singapore's own homegrown director, the first one ever, who's been a homemaker and a mother for 18 years, leading up to Market Singapore. And then right off her is David Chu, who retired from military. So you can see all of them come from different backgrounds and sorts, but the core principles stay the same, which I'll share shortly. And of course, last year, Sean, I got to meet Ken Buckman very briefly after the leadership school, which is very rewarding sense, a bit of a chat, and also thank you for everything. But the person actually I really learned a lot from, admired the most out of these people was Elsie, based in Singapore as well. Basically, she shared all the UFOs share and care for each other, care for the teams, but of course have this concept of heart love. Asian style now. Heart love in the sense that they do care for their own team members and themselves, but of course, when work needs to be done, there's no softness, there's no fairy dust, there's no sugarcoating anything. So, moving on. So, one thing I'm big fan of was that Singapore and Australia are actually very similar. Uh, Everybody in both countries is always looking for a dream job. Um, Prior to flying to Singapore, a lot of UFOs from other states in Australia and other countries kind of warned me a bit in advance that Singapore is a bit harder to build in comparison to some countries due to the culture. Um, so I originally had to kind of like rethink about my plan because I wanted to just jump the gun and show everybody the plan, all my friends. But of course, you got to qualify people. This is not just something to scare people away with. But yeah, and both countries are pretty comfortable. I mean, comfortable in the sense that they earn a good living, they got a house, they got a roof over their heads, they can afford food, petrol, etc. Of course, some ups and downs and um, in real estate, bills, taxes, etc. But definitely, everybody wants to succeed in some way or another. We just need to expand the vision further. Nothing wrong with having a job. Just that if they want more, people, there are definitely people looking for more. So that's why it comes to qualifying in this business. I learned from Singapore that what I can take about Australia is that it does take some time, but you want to find the right people and not just simply recruit for the sake of recruiting. So moving into sharing quickly what I learned. To summarize all, I just basically broke it up into the B5, just make it easier so I don't get lost along the way. So one big thing I learned from the leadership school and all the trainings I attended was this is actually your business as an independent unfranchised owner, and that each of us are our own bosses in the sense that we do this business for ourselves, but not by ourselves. So a very unique thing I like about this business is that this is my business, but we get to work together because we're all economically connected and we work together like a family. And again, a lot of them are, I noticed in Singapore, which I think we can take back, that a lot of them come with the posture of a follower. Sorry, the mindset of a follower, but a posture of a leader. So always learning, but of course always teaching and sharing your own team. And another thing is to treat it like a business and not a social club, meaning that you do this business for yourself. And I know a few percentage of UFOs around the world come this business for the sake of having some friends, etc., which is great. You need good friends, you need good people to surround yourself with, but majority of us wants to build a ongoing residual income. So basically look at your own needs first. Not in a harsh way, being selfish, but you got to take care of yourselves first before moving on to your team or to somebody else. Kind of like an airplane when they ask you to put an oxygen mask first on yourself before put on your kids in case anything happens to you. The kid doesn't know what to do, and both of you end up getting in trouble. And of course, everybody's always looking to improve in whatever area, how so, and of course, everything needs to be measured in a sense. And one very big thing, every UFO I noticed that I spoke to, from newbies to the directors and above, all of them have the passion, zeal, and a very strong why. And one big thing, another core principle is knowledge is power. So having the professional knowledge of what's happening around you in order to better showcase our own business, Market Australia business, what are the opportunities out there. So basically comparing the costs of starting up traditional business, franchising, one of those other things. And of course, knowing the shopping annuity and also know how to explain the difference in a very good way, but not so much about what you say, just what you say, but how you say it as well. So this will make you very agile and adaptive, which I noticed that when they speak to different people, they can tailor it to that person, make that person understand it to themselves, rather than trying to speak your same language to everybody who receives it differently. So again, they make sure they get the tickets, at least minimum 3. But I saw it from a different angle when somebody shared, I think it was Michelle Liu, the first director, to make this is actually an investment, because in this tickets, you're actually bringing hope, in a sense. You're getting your team educated to capture the belief in any event, from locals, UBPs, to the major events in Miami and Greensboro. Basically, this allows you to, what should I say? The events lets your team hear from a different person, because you can be saying the same thing to them 100 times, but until they can hear it from somebody else, immediately click, which is very possible. But again, the main thing is capture the belief. So hence why Sean and I, Marcus, a few others actually attending the World Conference 2019 next year in February, as well as Lee and host local seminar. Another big thing, goals, so this one shared very strongly. One person B5 was David Chu military. So He's very big in planning. And somebody said it was Kevin Buckman said that people are the only problem, meaning that the business plan is perfect. Product services we have are good. Just sometimes people may not want to work the business, even though you're partners. So in this business is longevity. So again, to be patient. And if you're not finding the right two people, they'll come along. And they say they break down the goals into action plans, essentially knowing what you want, but how is basically the steps. So from the daily, weekly, monthly steps. And if you want to earn that 2,100 to 3,600 per week, something needs to be improved, something needs to be measured, something needs to be done in addition to what you're doing now. And like this quote at the bottom here, so why is your boss successful? Because they plan and set goals for you when you start your job. So basically, they want you to keep you where you're at to ensure that their own, salary is safe. Again, nothing wrong with having a job. It's just that if you prefer that, that's fine. But some people would definitely want a different lifestyle. That's why a lot of them showcases as a plan B. And again, if you try to do the same thing now and expect something to change, well, 2 to 3 years later, you'll be the same unless you do change something. I'm moving on to retailing. Now, this is actually a very, very weak area of mine, but like literally after attending some of the trainings, especially leadership school, my mind just got blown away by how easy it is to retail. I think sometimes this business, we just overcomplicate it and I overthink what people may say about me or say about my products, etc. But again, it all starts down with knowing and using the product itself, collecting testimonies on the bonus or jumping back and forth. But it's also not just what you know, but how you share it. So basically the posture, the confidence, because you do feel confident using products, particularly isotonics or motors, etc. When you give samples as well, one thing that a lot of the UFOs say, they give it in style, meaning that not in such a false, luring, false claims kind of thing, misconceptions, but giving it in such a way where it's like, wow, I'm excited to retail. I'm excited to give some daily essential packets to my friends. I'm excited to invest the enfranchised cost for a Skintelligence toner spray so that my friend can enjoy it. So, and then a lot of them do think outside the box and get creative with their products. So don't just listen to read what the ball says, but think of ways to use stuff. So like one thing I learned is that using the pH normalizer spray for your hair before blow drying keeps your hair healthy, but of course gives a lot of volume to it. And again, it comes down to a mental game. So immediately, if you do retail a product and you go with the mindset saying, "Oh my gosh, because my friend will not buy because it's too expensive," then immediately they can tell from your posture, from the aura that you're sharing. In a sense, always the right word to use. But in fact, a lot of people can afford it. It's just a priority or where their mind's going to. But most importantly, what I learned is that it's the solution worth paying the price for. So is people willing to pay, in our retail cost over $100 for OPC3, where the benefits outweigh the cost? So definitely it comes down to that. And another tip I learned is that to actually try to achieve SAM each quarter. So when you have the free shipping, you actually can move products or just buy one lipstick or something, or buy something and just send it to your customer's address, and it's a free gift. Because when you invest into something, I know sometimes you get a bit tight on wallets, and definitely people come with different levels of how much they can spend. Sorry, excuse me. But I learned that if you're willing to care and solve a problem for them by giving something as a gift, a lot of people share in Singapore that a lot of customers end up buying more. And I think as well, using home shopping lists when you're approaching customers, your friends, or even prospects for the business, because it just shows them what they can convert for them to save. And again, this is a business. Retailing is lifeblood. If you're not retailing and just trying to think of recruiting, it becomes one of those illegal things, as Kevin Buckman would share. So yeah, and this is something I really like, is the 3 C's. So for unfranchised owners, the 3 C's, for agents, for 3 C's comes down to the credit card, having a nice car, having a nice condominium or apartment, etc. But for unfranchised owners, the 3 C's means that you have to show care, deep concern for your friend or customer or prospect, And this definitely has some genuine curiosity. And so what a lot of them, what's the one I'm looking for? Live by is that they under promise and over deliver. So if somebody needs something or has a problem, a lot of them go above and beyond just to help them and find a solution through our product services, even just anything outside market, Australian market, Singapore related. Another big thing, as I mentioned before, a lot of the UFOs we saw on stage, one, we saw a lot of the same UFOs winning multiple challenges because they aim for the retailing challenge, like the TLS challenge, web centers, motives, health products, um, as well as like the Master UFO and Shopping UT and Master Member Assessments, etc. And then later on the Chairman's Challenge. So we want to prospecting, recruiting, and sponsoring. So one big thing I learned in Singapore, which took me a while to realize, is it's not about trying to recruit as many people as possible. This business is about teaching, managing, as well as helping your junior partners. So really, in this business, we're trying to find is two qualified people, hence the qualifying part of that. A lot of them do treat this business like family business, which I think we do in Australia. We just can make sure we do not just solely focus on business related, but a lot of them build the business with people they love to spend time outside shop.com. And again, they prospect a lot of people. It's a lot of people in Singapore prospect it as a plan B. So related back to Australia in the sense that if we know that a lot of our friends or families, they work two jobs. A full-time job may take out part-time and casual and after hours and weekends just to make ends meet. But really, they showed as a plan B. So for us building from start, from scratch to coordinator, executive coordinator, and maybe hopefully up to professional coordinator level income, this is actually still a plan B. So treat it like a second job, they said. And of course, we tend to share a lot. I tend to share a lot. Of course, we get so excited about this business, they want to share the good news immediately. But the idea is to generate curiosity and just shut up. Just sprinkle a little bit of curiosity, hold back. If they ask for more, then share a little bit more. It's a long process, but really you just got to move them to event, from one-on-ones, two-on-ones, home BPs, then UBPs, bring a senior before after UBPs because the first two means you don't want to intimidate them, feel like you're trying to call them to sign up or register the business immediately. And again, it's about them, not about you. So make it about the prospecting stage about them. And one thing I learned is that to keep ensuring that you have this momentum going is a 3-1-2 method, really, where you just talk to 3 new people each day, get two of those contacts, and give one of them a call to show the plan. But in Singapore, unlike some other countries like Malaysia here, not comparing, which is because Malaysia's circumstances is very different, but which I can think we can relate with Singapore is that the first appointment is never about showing the plan, but really finding out more about the prospect and the person themselves. See if they are looking for something. If not, sell them product. One big thing, I keep saying a lot of this same lines. Sorry, I'm recording. It's like 12 midnight. Sorry. Anyway, no excuses. They do move to big events. We do know that it's expensive to fly from Australia or from Singapore to America, but for a lot of them, the same thing, the same themes apply. They get the belief, the team gets the belief at the major events, which is World Conference in Miami and the International Convention in Greensboro. And lastly, again, aim for the challenges, meaning the Chairman's Challenge. So basically it's a guideline so each UFO doesn't get lost. Now with the follow-up and ABC pattern, one thing I really like is that Michelle Liu described it as seniors are like call centers. So if your junior is actually giving you phone calls or texting you late at night, you should be excited. Like even Leanne Ho said herself when Sean and I spoke to her briefly that she actually likes it when people text her, even like juniors who just started like yesterday, etc. Because it shows they're actually trying to know more, build more, and try to talk to you. If you, on the reverse side, if you have to keep calling your juniors or your juniors to do the business, means they're not go now. So built with gonails, and not to disrespect how some of the Americans built, meaning the Americans like from market America, market Canada, etc. A lot of them do share that they do not register or partner with somebody unless they provide a names list, buy the tickets, buy some product, etc. I mean, that's one way of doing it, but being in this kind of like environment, this kind of circumstance and culture we live in, if they want to be users, let them be users, because sometime later they will wake up and realize that this business actually needs to work for them. I was like, they need to work with this business for them to achieve their own goals, because they become product after using all the stuff and everything. Sorry. And the goal again is like every year is duplication, because in most traditional business and MLMs and traditional business really for one superstar in a sense. The guy at the top is the champion, but he or she has to do everything. In this business, we need to duplicate and make sure that everybody is on the way to become a leader. So it's what I learned from Kevin Buckman and a lot of the leaders in the leadership school, is that you want a team to do better than you, not just you being better than them, so for the glory's sake. And again, when you're signing up people or they're registering in business, give them at least 2 hours to ensure that they understand the whole process. And another tip is that if you want to become a director and earn that 18 to 25K per 4-week cycle, a couple of them said the tip is to hit Master UFO 15 times in a row. And of course, in this business, it's not just all a business. So if you just do business talk all the time, people will get bored of you or get afraid, get upset with you or scare you. So when they shared that when they do week meetings at Corings, they don't just solely focus on business, but really they focus on just life in general. But of course, the topic will be business. So I think we're doing that pretty fine, but we got to make sure that everything's balanced properly. Now that's for business owners. With customers, it's very good to use testimonials as they buy product or continue to buy product. And there's a bit of a general rule of thumb that after you follow up according to the number of days as shown on the screen. From day one, thank them for buying a product. See if they tried the product 3 days time, 2 weeks later. Then 21 days later is then when you ask them if they want to try other products or reorder anything extra. So it's simple. But again, this business, you are trying to help them to get their checks as well. Now, how to apply this with Perth and the rest of Australia? So one thing I took, the core principle was the Plan B. I believe this can be used very well when qualifying prospects and to return recruit. So me personally, when I look at the B5, I tend to overlook others and just focus on one of the B5s, meaning that one period of time I might just focus on recruiting. Then my retailing goes down. Then when recruiting doesn't go well later on, I jump the gun to retailing and try to sell my product as well. But really, you got to do all the B5s in a sense, not just focus on one. And of course, to aim for all the challenges and the Master UFO and the Shopping in UT Master Member Program, as mentioned before, to hit director, get that 15 consecutive quarters in a row. And even though the new Master UFO program, his name is Bobby Ho from Singapore, shared, it's only one person. Go beyond to recruit conjugating. We're trying to share the good news with some people. So don't just go for bare minimum, go for beyond if you can. So one of his newest UFOs, she recruited and partnered with 7 people in the third quarter this year. She's only meant to get 2. She still went for 7. And again, to qualify, not recruit. So it made a lot of them shared that this is not meant to be. It's not meant to be a quick, rich, get fast results. I mean, you can get some pretty fast results if you do properly, but it's not meant to be done as such a to get rich quick schemes kind of thing. So to qualify, not recruit. So this business, in the flip chart in the business plan, it's not ask for you more money, is to recruit more people, is to teach, manage, support your 2 qualified business partners, and continue to share and expand in the qualifying kind of way. So Ken Buckman shared that the ratios could be for every 4 people that you're qualified, 1 person will actually become a partner, or 8 to 1 as well. Another thing is that to do at least one result producing activity per day. So it takes 21 days to build a habit, as our TLS 21 days challenges based on. So to us to get ingrained with doing call workshops, sharing shopping nudity, showing the plan, selling product, um, by selling tickets, you got to do it on a daily basis. So something for me to also man up to. So I have rewritten my goals. I have kind of rethought and kind of sat down. Well, I was on the plane, sorry, just thinking how to redo this whole thing re-collaborate myself, sorry, to do this properly. And one big thing is that when we do share this business, it's not just about buying products or selling products or partnering people. We actually when we got our Farsight kit, we actually came with a very powerful system, the GMTSS. So something that we can all leverage on, which if you don't have leverage today, you'll be being leveraged by somebody like your boss in your job right now. And again, this is a very brilliant, genius business compensation plan. No matter what people say, I heard firsthand at the convent, at the leadership school, as well as the trainings from the new people to the oldest UFO Singapore. This plan is actually genius based on math, and a lot of people from backgrounds engineering, PhDs, medicine, doctors, professors, whatever, saw this plan and saw this as such a straightforward but genius plan because it's meant for the people like you and I to apply this to. And one person said, I think his name is Reese, he said, in anything in his engineering career is that it either works or does not work. And he tried his best to prove it wrong, that this plan does not work, but he couldn't find anything wrong because the math shows the numbers itself. So in a quick nutshell, if somebody says that this business plan is crap or does not work or it's not for them or they just don't like it, don't take it too hard. It's just that they just don't know enough yet. Because maybe we didn't really share or talk about what the why is. So it's a summary. Basically, I saw in Singapore, young and old succeeding. I saw young guys sawing this and a lot of them claiming that, it's not claiming, stating that this is such a straightforward thing. I think for me personally, and I think some people can relate, we just tend to overthink a lot, overcomplicate the system. Duplication needs to be strong in Perth and Australia. I guess following the system again, listening to the experienced leaders, but also not be afraid to share your thoughts. But if something is not working, and I see myself a lot, don't try to fight for it. Let it go. And that we, in this business, we are our own boss, but we're also in a team. So it's very unorthodox, this business, because again, we're economically connected, like a bit like a franchise, but we get 100% of 100% to infinity. So it's very unique. In this business, it's not about how smart you are, but how emotionally managed you are. So I mentioned before, people will let you down. People, customers, prospects, your team will reject you, let you down, harass you, etc. But it's how you emotionally manage yourself individually in a day. And again, this is very simple business. I mentioned before, one thing that Kevin, a lot of leaders, Catherine, Yin, Johnny Huang, a lot of guys that we saw on stage, to people I saw on B5, people met in the Market Singapore corporate office. It's a very straightforward, simple business. We just tend to overcomplicate it if we overthink too much. And again, leading up to events, we have Lee and Ho coming next quarter in 2019. So I got my tickets and I'm planning, and I've been going out and sharing this business plan and qualifying. And Lee and Ho used to be in Australia, so she actually started her unfranchised business in Market Australia, which is living in Sydney. But when she had to move back to Singapore, she almost had to give up business until Market Singapore opened. And now she's a field vice president. And we spoke to her, Sean and I spoke to her for a bit, and she's actually very down to earth, very kind, very caring, and very just very genuine, want to help people. So I think it's one thing, you got to get your tickets and try to bring as many people as possible. Again, they don't have to be future business partners. They just have to be people to see what you're doing, etc. So thank you very much. And again, sorry, one more thing I'd add is this business is about a family. So one person, I think it's Frank Chang shared, this business is about building a family. So you want to build people that you can do life outside of shop.com business in general. So thank you very much for listening to me tonight. If I went over time, I'm sorry. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to message me or ask a senior business partner. Thank you.